we're here. We're gonna do a little bit of painting, nothing Bob Ross-esque, though that would be fun. Just preparing, because I've got some plans this year, which I'll talk about. Let me get my paints. So, the plan of this year. I want to do an art show, which means I need to prepare my stuff. Basically, I've been working on new paintings that you guys have not seen, and I figured let's do a little art tour, let's paint some canvas edges together. If you guys at home have some stuff that you're neglecting art-wise, the boring stuff, toning canvases, painting canvas edges, maybe sketching something out for a painting that you want to work on, do it now. This is your time to work on your art. And funny thing is, I have so many things due in about a day. Actually, this is one of the things I have due, so I'm not too bad, I guess. But I have 2 critiques in about a day, and I want to be prepared. One of the pieces, I've barely fucking started, so I am procrastinating, okay? Sue me. I am procrastinating, but in a good way. First, I'll talk about the big boy. I've been working on this since end of April, kind of on and off. It's just like a big painting of Iceland, and I'm into it. The underpainting is like a neon green. By the end of the painting, you won't see any neon green, which I like. There's conflicting ideas about if underpainting actually works. I think it does. I seriously think underpainting can influence your composition and your color scheme. Maybe not your composition, but your color scheme. It influences it. So if you, paint very loosely and gesturally, and you have an underpainting color, if you're painting loose on top, maybe some of that color will show through. Say you're doing a landscape and it's a sunrise and you have a neon underpainting, that neon is going to come through in the cracks and it's going to look like an interesting sunrise, and that's fun. Contrary to that, you can also do an underpainting where you're very methodical and the painting is tighter, I guess. The technique is a little thicker, and you don't see the underpainting. Well, here's the thing about that. My technique here isn't very loose and gestural. This is loose, this is tight. So, if you're going for I'm gonna keep saying tight, okay? Fucking deal with it. So, if you're painting tight, and you don't see the underpainting color is still going to affect every color that you put on top of it. You're basically painting by proximity to a color. So I have neon green here. My color palette is going to stray further away from neon green because I'm looking at it and comparing every color I lay on top to the neon green. So I'm gonna have a more mellow painting at the end, even though it's an insane color to have as an underpainting. So that's how I see it. When you put 2 colors next to each other, they can affect each other. So that is why I underpaint, and I think you should too. I think it helps. You can call it underpainting, depends what you're working on. A lot of the time, it's just toning the canvas. You rub a little bit of pigment on the canvas before you start painting. That's toning the canvas. There's a lot of reasons that people do this. What I've found is the first thing is it affects the color scheme. But the second thing is toning a canvas affects the values that you put on it too. So every canvas comes white, and that's the highest value. But if you tone your canvas a more mid-value, like a neutral brown or a neutral red, which monochromatically is at the center of a value scale, you are no longer building your values down, you're building them up and building them down. It's like working on toned gray paper instead of working on white paper, that kind of effect. So you're gonna have a more accurate value scale when you tone your canvas first. So that's another reason to do it. I've been doing these like figure painting classes, and I always tone my canvas because I don't have to fight my values when I'm working. I guess I'll show some of my figure painting stuff too in a minute. So I haven't really contributed to my art career. I haven't really done anything career-wise yet. And I'm turning 21 soon. And I'm in my 3rd year at OCAD. So like, I'm starting to get nervous. The quarter-life crisis is kind of it's happening. So because of this, I want to try an art show and see how things go. I have tried to do things before, like the Toronto Outdoor Art Fair. I applied a couple years ago, and I got my application denied. So I think there were times when I tried for the arts career and it just didn't work out that way. But I've basically planned things out, and I will have a viable venue in November. So I'm gonna try and pull my stuff together and have enough pieces for November to show. And I guess I'll talk about my ideas for the art show and what I've been learning about, in case anyone of you guys want to have an art show too. I know it's not easy. It's actually really tough. It's a big investment too. I've been saving my dough. I've been saving up, kind of just working and saving for, business endeavors. So I've got a couple grand that I've just kind of saved, which is hard as heck. Very hard to save money when you're renting, I have to say. But, we make it work. Some of the money, luckily I don't have to spend on the venue, which makes me feel very lucky. So I don't have to spend on the venue. But I will absolutely be spending on prints, renting a, what's it called? Like a square terminal, a card terminal for credit cards. Basically I'll be printing my art on like mugs. Again, I've done that before, so it's not too hard. Some stuff that isn't gonna be too difficult, like business cards, I can do that at Staples. Like, it doesn't have to be top tier professional business cards. It can just be like, cardstock for now. If I'm being honest with you guys, I've been really scared to do this, and I've wanted to have a show for a few years, and I've just been scared. And I've been slowly painting a lot of landscapes, and then my stuff kind of shifted into these like decay characters. I'll have to show other art that isn't here, and like it'll make sense. But my art has fucking evolved now, and I wanted to do an art show when I was doing stuff like this, and now I have to like improve these so they can be part of the show. It's great that I already have art, but it feels unbalanced, I guess. Like, it should just be art I already have, but I'm just giving myself more work, because now I'm training myself to use oils, and like I used to do acrylics, and I still want them in the show, so I'm gonna go mixed media on them and just kind of add. Okay, I need some tea, hold on. So like let's talk big thoughts. Big thoughts time. Oh, first, wait. The algorithm hates me. We're gonna talk big idea behind the Iceland painting. There's no big idea at all. You wanna know something? I just wanna go to Iceland really bad, and it's not gonna happen. I'm saving my money for this show, and I haven't traveled in years, but I'm not going to. And I just want to go and hike in the fucking Highlands, so I just painted it. That's it. I don't have like a deep intellectual meaning behind all my paintings, and I don't think it's always necessary. I know that it probably makes an art buyer feel better to know that this painting has such a deep meaning that someone poured their heart out into. But sometimes I just want to paint Iceland. And for this fucking giant painting, this is the biggest painting I've ever made, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm proud of that. But it doesn't have a meaning. It's just something I want to do. And like, I was talking about the problem that I'm experiencing with my art kind of evolving over the years, and how I still want to use my old pieces in the art show, but it feels disproportionate. Here's the example. I have this. It's a glossy acrylic painting that I did a few years ago. And the styles are, it feels like the styles are completely different between this painting and the Iceland painting, you know? These two are on par though, so I don't know. But I'll just have to deal with that, I guess. Before I go into the like art I've been making for the show, I want to just show like this, I want to show it. It's due in a day, and it's like a portrait, and you can see that it's still wet because I was painting it. Basically, I'm gonna hold it up and not be weird. This is a self-portrait of me. So the idea is, for my painting class, we're supposed to do a portrait and then highlight something embarrassing about ourselves. So this has gone through some phases already. I've been working on it for about a week. I'm happy with the face. The body did so many different changes. Basically, you guys already know, when I was young, I used to have an eating disorder. So I guess that's the most embarrassing thing I could paint. And I was doing all sorts of like gruesome, gory stuff here. And then I realized that's a little much. The best thing I can do to kind of represent the insecurity related to an eating disorder isn't showing an emaciated body, but maybe it's just kind of blacking out the body and showing how you want to draw attention away from your body when you are in it. You kind of try to make yourself feel small, and you want to draw attention away from yourself. And, you know, when you look at your body, it's usually with shame, you know, no matter how small you get from the disorder. So I had my character kind of body redacted because it is met with shame. So that's the idea. Not trying to pour my heart out too much on my channel, but I guess that's, sometimes art has meaning and sometimes it does not. That's how I feel. But like, I'm excited for critique because it was looking really fucked up today, and then I feel like I kind of fixed it a little. The only thing, I'm waiting for this area to dry. I haven't like painted the ears yet, and I want to put like jewelry and stuff. It's exciting to have a self-portrait because I have gone through a lot of hair changes and like piercings and stuff. It feels like my old self-portraits aren't me anymore. I have a bunch, they feel like they're not me. And I don't know, it's just nice. You know, my mom saw it, she was like, I want it. And I'm like, done, it's yours. I have to say that like, oil painting changed the game a little for me. I always thought it would be more expensive. And then I realized that you don't have to use that much like product. You don't have to use that much paint. So, you know, the tubes are like that big, paying maybe between $9 to $11 per tube of what I buy. But like, you use the tiniest nipples of fucking paint versus acrylic, you're using like tablespoons of paint. So I think it's worth it because, like, I'm able to make more detailed stuff that's like easier to work with, that doesn't dry in a minute. Like, the most annoying thing about acrylic that I hated, and now it's hard to work with it, is I mix my perfect color palette to work with and it's dry in 5 minutes. I'm trying to work on a portrait and you get all the skin tones right, which takes a lot of tweaking. The paints takes a lot of tweaking, and I don't like using retardants. They smell. I don't like it. So my acrylic's just dry. So like oil doesn't do that. I will say that like this green is acrylic paint and this blue is acrylic paint, and then I put the oil on top because that's just more economical. You know, acrylic can very quickly cover surfaces. It is cheaper. You can get a bigger tube of paint for like $5. This will last a while. So it's more economical to do your underpainting in acrylic and then go over top with oil. Oil pops more. Acrylics darken, which is so fucking annoying because you mix your perfect color, it looks good while it's wet, and then it darkens and your values completely shift. When you're working with oil, it doesn't do that. Like, it's so great. Yeah, that's kind of all. Also, you don't have to use Liquin, which when I was in high school, what turned me off of oil was we had to use this stuff called Liquin, which is this disgusting, volatile, gelatinous fucking retardant for the oil paint. And it's horrible. You can just use linseed oil, which is just oil, and it's great. I hated Liquin. It also has this like disgusting finish. It gives you this like, the finish is unnaturally glossy, and I don't like it for Liquin. And it also offlets fumes the whole time. Now oil does that, but Liquin makes it worse. So that's how I feel. Right now I'm using way more oils, but still acrylic. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it like this. I don't really want to ruin the paint. I'm putting it down. Get a good look. Yeah. I don't know if I showed this painting on this channel or not, but I posted it like years ago on my Instagram, probably maybe second year actually, so not that long ago. Basically everything was a little bit darker compositionally. I keep saying that the color palette was darker. Darker, like pinks and purples, and then like this blue was the entire background. Recently I've gone in with oils and like added like a meadow background, so we're gonna do this. I haven't finished painting here. There's gonna be shit here too. And then I went over and put some clouds in the sky. Gonna show the detail on that, if it'll like focus on it. So I did like these little swirlies. The really cool thing about oil paint is since it takes so long to dry, you can just go wet on wet with it and do little designs in the paint. So I had fun with that. Oops. I hope this thing's dry. I wanted to show that painting because it's one of like the characters that I'm gonna do the show with. Like I have a lot of woman characters that are all centered around death. Where was the little painting? There it is. I did this a while ago. Little guy. Basically it's an acrylic, completely acrylic, of Lilith, and then just like an original character, and she's kind of taking their soul. Yep, I just think Lilith is really cool. Probably the most independent woman that existed in the biblical times. So look at that. Adam's first wife, I think. I don't know. I don't read the Bible. But that was my first painting of her, and then now I'm trying to do another one, but this one's a little fucky right now. I'm still working on it, so like, go easy on me. But criticism is appreciated in the comments. So I started this one on like Saturday, so a couple days ago. Lilith again. Her hair's not orange yet. I haven't really messed with the face. But she's gonna like look in the mirror, and then she's gonna have a snake eye or something cool in the mirror. The other thing is I want like a snake running just like along the torso, kind of hiding. And she's kind of chilling in a castle and just being super cool. It was my take on that one painting, the Venus of, I can't remember the place, but I'm going to put it on screen. It was circa 1500, so that's like my inspiration. It's just a little different. I would say that I got the art stuff out of the way and I can just be normal now, so that's good. I just feel like it's nice to be able to give an art update because it's really been a while since I posted, and I'm not consistent, and I don't think I'm going to do YouTube as a hobby long term, but making videos is nice. I like you guys that watch. You know, I see your guys' comments, especially the ones that just say that you enjoy like having the videos on, or it just makes you happy. I got this one comment once that made me so happy that just I make someone's day, and I was like, fuck, that's awesome. Yeah. And those are the same people that tell me to keep posting, and that's exactly what I didn't do, and I do feel kind of guilty about that. So, you know, to you guys, I'm sorry. As for how things have been, like, I kind of have to be a little bit vague, to be honest. I can say this, though. Things have not been great. I can say that. Things have not been great, but sometimes you need not so great circumstances to force you to consider what's important in your life. And to me, that was working on writing and working on art, and those were the two kind of pillars that were fundamental to keeping me up, keeping me going, was painting and writing. So I don't even know if I've talked about it on this channel, but I've got some friends and they're really awesome. Yeah, shout out Stefan, who does not watch this channel. None of my friends have found my channel, and you never will, okay? Fuck you guys. I've told them about my channel, and I said, you're never gonna find it. But shout out Stefan, because I'm beta reading his short story. He finished his manuscript and sent it, and gave it to me like last week. So fucking sick, dude. It's awesome that I get to like edit someone's story, and it's just cool, okay? I love it. Like, it makes me excited for mine. I haven't really told you guys, but I've been writing a story of my own, and it's some Twilight bullshit. It's basically fan fiction, but it's my original characters, so it's not fan fiction. I fucking love that I can talk about my goddamn book. So I'm writing a book that is never gonna see the light of day, probably. I'll try to publish it. We'll see how it goes. You know what? Like, if it doesn't get published, I will link it on Amazon, because it's easy to self-publish on Amazon, apparently. So yeah, I'm writing a book. It is called, my working title, I'm not even finished the first draft. I have one more chapter to write before I like work on the second draft. One more fucking chapter. And it's been like 3 weeks and I haven't written a chapter, which is ridiculous. But anyway, is called From the Hound's Jaws, okay? And I think, based on that fucking edgy title, you can guess what this book is about. I will give you 5 seconds to guess before I give you the Jeopardy response. It's a werewolf book, bitch. It's a fucking werewolf book. So I'm writing about werewolves, and fuck you, don't judge me. I'm not even Team Jacob. I'm not even Team either of them. I'm Team Alice, okay? She should have dated Bella. But anyway, like, I do love Twilight. And just something about, like, a brain-rotted 2000s romance really just gets me going and makes me feel all cozy and happy. And as a fucking joke, not even, I wrote 3 chapters of it back in January. And now I have 29 chapters and it's almost done. I think that's so ridiculous. Which is why it has to see the light of day somehow. I actually blame my friends for this, because a few of my friends are into writing. You know, one of them is Stefan, but then there's like friends of friends that also do it. So we have like a little bit of a writer's circle going. So like, you know, I wrote a little something, got it read, you know, people were into it. They were like, you should keep writing. And I was like, what the fuck? And I did. And you know what's crazy? I didn't think I could write something good, because when I was like 15 to 18, I had the worst poetry phase of my life. I still can't write good poetry. It's really embarrassing. I think I got rid of all of it, but maybe we do a poetry reading on this channel and I just out myself to everyone. It's bad. But I can't really blame myself either. I was a huge Rachel Oates fan. Awesome YouTuber. She does like poetry readings of her fans' poetry, her own poetry. I like her one called The Room, like spelled womb with an R. I really fucked with Rachel Oates' poetry videos, to the point where I wrote my own, and it was really bad, and I did it for years, even though I knew I was bad at it, and I showed like 1 or 2 people, and yes, it was bad. And based on that, I thought to myself, if my poetry is bad, my prose is probably bad too, and I just never tried. I'm also kind of working on another, which is not a werewolf book. It's like a more serious book about like women that are downtrodden, I guess. Women that are treated badly, and it kind of builds up. One particular woman, well, 2, 3. It's about 3 women that just, they get all fucked up, I guess. So I'm editing right now, and what the heck was that? Like, I did not introduce the other book idea very well. You're not gonna get a great introduction, just that it's like a murder book. One of the characters is a murderer. It opens up that way, and she feels justified in committing murder because she was treated very poorly by men, so she targets men, and it's really fucked up on like a lot of sides. Like, obviously, morally dubious character, what a great trope, I guess. But I just really wanted to write from the perspective of a morally dubious character, and then her 2 friends that don't know she's a murderer, but all 3 of them throughout the story kind of get treated badly by men, and that's like the theme. Yeah, trying to have themes, not something I usually do. But anyways, I move on like real fast after this, when that clip ended, so I just thought I'd like try and sum it up, you know? I think it kind of sucks that I can't just be into coding. Like, when I was a kid, I used to like coding. Why do I have to be into the two most unstable career choices, painting and writing, the two things that are like the 1 in a million chance of discovery, okay? Painting, you need to self-network, which I am going to try, but it's still so scary, because there's only so many rejections you can take, or you can build thick skin, I guess. But writing, it's like even less. You're at the mercy of a publisher. So like, my two choices are network or be at the mercy of a publisher, or self-publish and also network, but it's not stable. Like, these are not stable choices. Why did I make them? I don't know. I'm also gonna talk about this. Like, when I was editing the book, I mean the short story that my friend wrote, I was using different techniques because I was testing these editing techniques on his story first, because when it's time to print my first draft out, I'm gonna use the same techniques, and I'm new to it. I read it out loud, and that actually changed it a lot. So I did a recording of myself reading the whole story, and then I listened back to it in the morning with my my copy of the manuscript, and then I just like jotted down extra, more abstract notes, and it was easier to catch inconsistencies that you might miss when you're focused on reading. So that was really good. My single-spaced manuscript is 75 pages, and I'm going to read the whole thing to myself. And the recording of me reading 12 single-spaced pages was like 40 minutes. So I thought it wouldn't be that bad when I read my book, but now I'm a little nervous that I'm gonna run out of, space, like storage. And like, do I need to make an audiobook that bad? I don't know. But like, Stephen King says, do it. So I kind of trust him, and I probably will do it. Also, I know, I'm not trying to compare our work. I'm a terrible short story writer, but my friend is perfectly capable of writing a novel and has started to do that. But I just kind of put everything into one thing for a long period of time, and he had multiple projects, so I hope I'm not coming across as like making that comparison. I really want to read it so that I get that awareness of the story, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass. That's all. It's just gonna be such a pain in the ass. Okay, well, it was fun catching up with you guys. I mean, I didn't really like show all the art, but I'll make other videos and I'll like show more stuff, and like explain things that I use in my practice. If like some of you guys are artists and like any of my stuff helps, that feels so good. That would feel so good. But like, even if you're not and you just like watching art content, I am glad that I could show my art to you guys because it has been a while. It was kind of nice to just catch up, considering it has been at least 6 months since my last upload. It might have been longer, I'm not sure, whenever I made those cinnamon rolls, which I need to make those again, honestly. It's been a while. I guess I'll talk logistics of the art show like later. My main goal right now, just to cap that off, the art show talk, my main goal is to produce 18 to like at least have 20 pieces that can be in the show, but I want like 10 strong ones that are part of an overarching series. So yeah, my goal is just paint as much as I can between now and September, get all that art done, and then start working on the business-oriented side later. So like, I'll try and keep you guys posted, but that's about it. Bye.